Hi, welcome back to my garden. Behind me, you'll see a large table of started plants that I have started indoors over winter and have been hardening off outside for the past few weeks. And now that it is warm enough for them to stay outside full time and inside, a few nights when it's cooler, I want to walk you through everything that I've started, their progress, kind of where they're at, what I'm seeing, just kind of going through all my plants. You'll see some that are really, really small, some that haven't even popped through the soil yet, and then some that are extremely large. Even just in my background, what I can see is a couple smaller plants over on this side, and as you kind of get down the table, you get larger ones like this giant pepper plant. And then over on the floor, there's 4 trays of very large pepper plants. So I'm excited to walk through all of the types of varieties that I'm growing this year, what I'm seeing on all the plants. So you'll see a lot of different varieties and kind of get a big overview of what I'm growing this season. One more thing to note, the types of things that I tend to grow from seed are things like flowers, peppers, tomatoes, herbs, of lots of different varieties. I tend to grow over easily 80 varieties of different fruits, vegetables, flowers, herbs, all that every single year easily. So a lot of what you'll see is tons of variety. This is not exclusively what's grown in my garden. Some things are here on my table are going to be sold. Some things I'm going to buy from local nurseries and farms in my region. But for the most part, this is what's going to fill my garden this year. So it's a lot. It's a lot for sure, more than an average home gardener, but I've never done anything in moderation when it comes to gardening. So enjoy the walkthrough. So as you can see, there's a couple different stages of plants out here. Some of these are actually empty and just didn't germinate at all. There's some zinnias that I will leave here because I still think that they have more time to germinate. There are some pepper plants I started really late, but I'm really glad to see them doing well, and I'll either give them away or plant them. I might even experiment and put some pepper plants in my green stalks this year and kind of figure out a good way to trellis them. So cayennes and sweet red marconis are here. I've got tiny jalapeno plants. You'll see generally the smaller plants are on this side where I can really just come out my front door and see how they're doing. Smaller plants need a little bit more attention. Back here are some of the tomato plants. Again, a couple varying sizes. Some of them have been blown over by the wind, but I really don't have any issues with that. A couple more back here. Most of these are similar varieties. There's the Sart Verloy, that yellow purple tomato, pineapple, Roma VF, another pineapple, a chef's orange. Champagne Bubble is one of my favorite cherry tomatoes. I'm growing a couple of those this year. A yellow pear right there. So a couple of different varieties, mostly basic red ones, Abe Lincolns, Romas, and then a couple cute yellow ones. These are a couple small ones. These are my backups because, again, I lost a whole tray of tomatoes, so these are backups. San Marzano, I lost a ton of those, and Abe Lincoln, which I have a big one right there. This is a backup of that. It just kind of happens. Sometimes you lose some plants, and it's easy to just start a couple more seeds even though they're behind schedule. All good. I have an Armenian cucumber that's coming up here, so that's cool that broke soil. I have 2 stevia plants, which I've never ever been able to start from seeds, and the seeds are kind of expensive, but I have bought started plants from a farm nearby, and they do really, really well. So that is something I will spend some money on, and I'm grateful for that. Those are really hard seeds because they're so small and I think finicky. Waiting on some chives, a watermelon to pop through the soil. A Kajari melon hasn't popped through yet, but there is a seed in there. Couple more peppers here, a lot of jalapenos. I decided I cannot have enough jalapenos this year, so I have a lot of them that are really large and a lot of them that are kind of small. A pequeno pepper, more sweet red marconi, couple more tomatoes intermingling on this tray. And then some snapdragons are here. Lime basil. A couple goodies here. On this tray, more tomatoes. These will likely all be sold or given away. These are some nasturtium. That's a cool colored nasturtium. I'm surprised to see it look so red. That just popped out of the soil. This one. Interesting. And then calendula back there, doing well. Purple basil. A couple more seed containers that haven't popped up. So I'm thinking these are some home seeds from last year from a pepper that I harvested from my garden. So I think those seeds are probably bum seeds. So I can toss that soil out probably. Marigold pots. Waiting on those. That whole tray is kind of baby plants or things that haven't popped up yet. Peppers, 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 and more peppers. Just gonna quickly scan over so many of these pepper plants, and then there's more over here. I will read off a couple of the varieties that are really cool or stand out. Purple perfume is a new one for me, but purple, dark, almost black looking peppers are something that I'm really interested in. These seem more like a light purple pepper, so I'm really excited about that. Shishito peppers, I have a ton of these and they are prolific, so I'm going to be eating a ton of those this season. I will probably have to give 1 or 2 of those away. I have so many of them. Ahi mango, I accidentally started this seed maybe 4 times, and I have no idea why in my brain I said I never started them. Then I started another plant, and then I started another one. So I think I have too many of those as well. Happy to have those. It's a new one to me. A lot of California bell peppers and some violet sparkles. A coral bell pepper, which is just a orange, bright orange pepper. And then back here we have a lot of ghost peppers. So I started these because I wanted to get rid of the seed packet, but they're doing very well. Again, I might have to find a home for a couple of them. I started a lot of them, but I never started the super hot pepper plants early enough, and they take so long to take off. So I'm excited to have a couple really cool super hot peppers. I've got some Sugar Rush peach. There's this one, and then this one's a Sugar Rush as well. I love those. Those are one of my favorite peppers from last year. More coral bells down here. A nice selection of them. California Wonders are all in here. And then these are backwards. Let's see what these are. A ton of Craig's jalapeno peppers. A lipstick peppers right here. These are jalapenos. Pumpkin spice jalapeno right here. Ahi mango, there's that other one. So you can see a lot of these pepper plants look exactly the same at this stage. So marking them with labels is absolutely essential. If I didn't have markers, I wouldn't know what they were until the peppers started growing or matured into their right color. That's really the only way to tell. There's some that obviously stand out, like these purple ones, but still, you could certainly confuse a couple of purple varieties because I grow 5 or 6 different purple types. Here's another ahi mango. Here's my Carolina Reaper pepper. And I might have another one somewhere. I know I have 2 Carolina Reapers. Another ahi mango. This one's looking sturdy, which is great. A sweet moruga. That's a new one to me. Violet sparkle. A tam jalapeno, which creates a smaller jalapeno than the Craig's Grande, but prolific and growing. A Craig's Grande right next to it. Again, tons of jalapenos. I use them very frequently in my cooking, and then I make seasonings out of them. This purple one right here is another purple perfume. Look how dark that looks. It's so cool compared to the really bright green regular peppers. This purple, I just love the contrast. How cool. And then these ones down here are pumpkin spice, a coral bell, pumpkin spice, This is probably another purple perfume. I guess I started a ton of those as well. And then anything that's not labeled is a jalapeno. I think I ran out of markers one day and I just decided if they're unlabeled, they're jalapenos, because I have so many of them. Before we hop back to the table to show you things that are not peppers, these are my biggest pepper plants, obviously. Substantial, large. So these are currently too tall to be in my grow rack with my grow light. So it's a benefit and a hindrance to have pepper plants started in January, because once they grow past your grow lights, while you can still keep them under your lights, some grow lights will burn the top of them, and actually a couple of them have a little bit of damage from one grow light that did burn them. I had to move them under a different type. So a little bit of a challenge, but now that it's warm enough to keep them outside, it's a huge win. A couple standouts over here. We have a bunch of cayenne peppers. This year I'm growing an orange variety, a purple variety, and a red variety of cayennes. I want to see if I can make a really nice jar, colorful jar of chili flakes. I want to make more cayenne pepper powder and stick them into some either cowboy candy type kind of recipes, or just kind of use those colors to make a really cool jar of something. Let's see, we've got a ton of Craig's jalapeno. This is a jalapeno. Got a couple more in the middle. This one right here is a chocolate bell. And then more jalapenos on the back side. These ones with the purple flowers. And I'll zoom in on how cool and bright these ones are. Boom. Focus. I love peppers that shoot off purple flowers because they just pop. Most pepper plants will shoot off white flowers, which kind of look like this. This is kind of a typical pepper flower, which will turn into a pepper once pollinated. Some other ones, this one's a Pippin's Honey Golden, has kind of a purple edge color to it. Let's see if I can get that. This one's a new pepper from my garden, so this is the first time I'm seeing the flowers. But they have a purple little tint on the outside. How pretty. So pepper flowers themselves attract pollinators, of course, but they come in such cool colors. And this Pippin's Golden Honey has a kind of purple tint overall. That's so cool. So a little bit of purple there, a lot of regular white flowers as you can see, and then sometimes they're kind of more full-on purple like that. A nice range. In the second tray, I'm going to read off a couple so you could just know what I'm growing. This is the purple cayenne, the one with the purple flowers on it. So cool. And it looks like I've got 3 or 4 of the purple cayennes here. This other one with a really dark purple flower coming on right there, that is the purple Murawski pepper. That's cool. I've got another one of those right here. Those are a really rich purple flower. We've got a fish pepper, which is a variegated white and green pepper right there. A pequeño pepper plant. These are kind of short and squatty compared to other ones. As you can see, while it has tons of growth, it's a little bit of a shorter plant. This is a lemon drop, new to me, highly recommended. Everyone seems to love this pepper plant. This one's in a Advarsky. This creates really, really long sweet peppers, and last year I think I mixed up the label for them, but I was pretty sure this was essentially a substitution for a bell pepper because they were so much larger. I believe the Advarsky and the Carmen F1 last year were my 2 favorite sweet pepper plants outside of just regular bells. So that's exciting. This one and this one is that variety. Very cool. Another sweet pepper that is new to me, and again, kind of looking for some variety in sweet or bell style plants, is a Chinese giant red bell pepper. The label made them seem really, really huge and interesting looking, so that's what that is. And they're doing really well. These are one of the larger plants. They jumped out once they germinated. They were substantially larger than any other plant started at the same time. These and the Big Jim pepper plants were the largest, the fastest. Great growing quick. I was trying to see what these ones were. I know exactly what they are. These are the Bueno Mulata purple pepper plants. These were my first purple peppers. See those little purple leaves or flowers? And these are so fun, and they make a harvest basket look so bright and colorful. You can see I have a lot of purple peppers in my little collection. I certainly know what peppers I wanted this year, and it's more varieties than I remember starting, to be totally honest, but it's certainly going to be a colorful harvest basket month after month this season. Okay, moving down the row of peppers, I have lilac sweet bell peppers. I have a handful of these. I believe they won't be very large peppers, but they'll be sweet and, you know, bright purple, always nice. I started a bunch of these because I was pretty confident that the peppers would not be substantial. They'll be good for salads or something like that, but in terms of what I use bell peppers for the most are stir fries and stuffing, something larger. These won't really do a whole lot for me. So things like Big Jim, which is over here in this tray. It's this plant right there. Again, they all kind of look the same in these trays, but that's supposed to produce a really, really large bell pepper that's going to be more useful for my kind of dinner preparation purposes. But that's still very, very pretty. Another jalapenos here, violet sparkle, again a similar purple bell pepper, a chocolate bell pepper. So while bell peppers kind of all taste the same, I just like having different colors of them. I'm growing, I think, yellow, orange, a brown, purple, red bell peppers. And bell peppers are edible at any stage. They're always green when they're unripe. So they're kind of all the same, but when they ripen to their full color, it's a very, very pretty food to have. A couple others in this one is a monster bell pepper. Get this one out so I could show you. This one created really, really large bell peppers for me last year, and they were kind of yellow green. And for a bell pepper plant, I felt like they were pretty prolific. I find bell pepper plants don't really produce a whole lot, or I really haven't had the most success with them. So I'm hoping by having way more bell peppers this year, and also these kind of larger varieties, the Big Jim, monster bell pepper, Chinese giant red, I'm kind of enabling myself to have kind of more of a substantial selection to harvest from. We've got a sweet banana pepper here, which is doing great. And while I was scanning other labels, I found my first pepper of the season. Let's get it out. Oops, it's right on the back. Hello, pepper. Welcome to the garden season. This, I cannot pronounce the whole name of it. I call it a lute paprika pepper. They're red peppers that make a really smoky paprika powder. And I started these, I had these last year in my garden, and they did pretty well, but I really don't think I started them early enough. And it already looks like this one has more flowers than what I'm used to seeing on the plant. Like, this is about as large as it got last year. So that the fact that this is as large as it was last year, and it's only April 1st today, come on, like, we're gonna have so many. I'm so excited. I saw another one. Look, another pepper on my other, that's the same exact variety, so they really shoot off peppers early. That's the lute paprika. Let's see if there's any more on these. Doesn't really look like it. I'm seeing a ton of flowers, but no actual peppers. Cool. Well, that's the first variety to make peppers, so fun. And you're going in the front now. A+. Couple other varieties in this. We talked about the Pippin's Golden, has those purple rimmed flowers, kind of darker stems, which is cool. Here's my red cayenne peppers. They're doing quite well. very tall, starting to flower. Super excited about that. Those two big gems are right there on the end. Those were my tallest and largest plants, and now they are getting towered by this one, which is a Tabasco. That's what that is. That makes sense. Tabasco plants do not need a lot of them to get a ton of peppers. This is my first time growing it, and I honestly grew this pepper plant from seeds I didn't even think were viable. I got them from a Etsy store 4 years ago, and I was surprised they even germinated, but that plant's doing pretty well. A little bit of discoloration on those leaves, which I don't really love, but I'm gonna take that one off, and I'm gonna trim up this one just a little bit, get them away from my other plants. Another Craig's giant jalapeno plant right there, and a couple more of those paprika plants. I wanted to see, honestly, since I wasn't sure that they would produce as much or get as large, I started so many of them, but it looks like we're gonna have a ton of them this year. So I misjudged those pepper plants. Silly me. All right, red cayennes go back. And then I just wanted to show you what it looked like, that sun damage, or the scalding rather, from the grow lights. This is what it ended up looking like on the plant. So this was from a grow light, a bar light, sitting right on top of it and hitting that. So I'm just gonna remove that so the plant doesn't try to heal those, and it can just focus on the rest of the plant. Easy peasy. I'm not concerned about it. It shouldn't really affect the whole plant, but that's what that ended up looking like. Not the best, just a boo-boo. In terms of maintenance on these things, the pepper plants, I will really only take off the bottom leaves, especially ones that touch the soil. So like this one's a little bit low. I'll take those off just to avoid any backsplash or any, water touching the soil. You can see on here, there's a couple inches pretty much across every plant here that's not touching the ground. And then any plant that's showing any signs of stress or discoloration, I saw a leaf on this side I can show you. This kind of yellowing could be two things. Sometimes the leaves at the bottom of the plant just yellow first and want to fall off, but it could also be a sign that I need to feed these pepper plants with fertilizer 1 or 2 more times before they're ready to go out in the garden. So I'll put that on my to-do list this week. Okay, back to the table. Those are most of my pepper plants. The last couple trays down here, I've got some more snapdragons over there. These are some of the plants that I started on one of those videos. So this is the tropical sunset tomato. There's that other tomato. The holy basil, I think my seeds were kind of weird this year because some of them started well, some of them didn't. Oh, I'm seeing some green in here. They got shifted around a little bit when I watered them. You can tell because I put seeds in the center and they're all the way over there. So that's, one of the downsides of having a toilet paper roll. This is a ground cherry. I'm surprised the ground cherry didn't come up. So that's not great. And then that's the other ground cherry. So it looks like they didn't come up in 2 different places that I planted it. So I'm gonna restart my ground cherry seeds because I'm thinking these containers just, I either had seeds that just weren't germinating, which is fine, that happens. But I also just don't really like these containers as much. I'd rather have smaller ones like this that fit a little closer. I know how much water they're getting. Yeah, so I'll probably restart those. And then the last 2 trays down here, a couple more pepper plants. This tray that's filled with blue, these are for my mother-in-law, who has a grow stock that I'm gonna fill in May when I go up and visit her. So what I'm growing for her is oregano, cilantro, cayenne pepper, a couple jalapeno peppers, which is what she wanted, some snapdragons, chives, which hasn't popped up yet, which is fine, some marigolds, lemon basil, red Reuben basil, that's that purple red basil, and then anything that's left over from here I'll stick in there as well and send to her. And then this last tray, we've got some floppy plants in here. This is a spoon tomato. These are really, really small tomato plants, and the stems are so tiny and paper thin. I don't like growing that tomato, to be honest, so I'm gonna either sell or give that away, and if I can't give these two away, they're going in the compost bin. Tarragon, oregano, some holy basil. This looks like a marigold, basil, dark opal basil, which is a little bit darker than that red rhubarb. They're pretty similar. Oops, there's that. There's that. But I realized I hadn't started any dark opal. I only started a ton of the red rhubarb, so kind of wanted to see a side-by-side comparison. And then these are some more basil, bunch onions. This is a Hales melon. That is a lime basil. So just a hodgepodge of different things down here. So I think some of these tomato plants that were a little bit too small maybe got some wind from the storm that rolled in yesterday. Need a little more soil, a little bit more support, but that's not hard to do. So I'll come out here with a bin of soil and do that today. Otherwise, things are looking really, really good. So here's what we're looking like overall. I live at a plant nursery. So many plants. So I have a ton of plants out here, of course. Started at different times. Let me know what you think, what you'd like to see more of in terms of the varieties or things that I'm growing. If you like any kind of tutorials or advice on growing anything that you saw here, let me know. Let me know what else I should grow outside of these things as well. And thank you for joining me today. Have a good one. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.